Welcome to another movie Reedview. This one is for The Hunger Games, Mockingjay, Part 1 of 2 in a 4-part series based on 3 books. I don't know. Anyway, it's directed by Francis Lawrence, which apparently has no relationship to its main star, Jennifer Lawrence, same last name. But it also stars Liam Hemsworth, Josh Hutcherson, Donald Sutherland, and others. So anyway, the events of Mockingjay Part 1, they take place sometime after the events of The Hunger Games Catching Fire. So if you haven't read the books and you were expecting to jump right back into the storyline where Catching Fire ended off, you might be a little disappointed, because it does take some time in the future, so there's some time in between, but now a rebellion is starting to take place against the Capitol, and we all know that it's like this evil government basically overruling these districts, and so this rebellion starting to take place after the events of the last 2 movies and books of what Katniss has been starting, going against the Capitol and this rebellion starting to happen. And in this one, we really get to see a fallen, broken hero in Katniss. Maybe more broken than fallen, but the Hunger Games are starting to take its toll on her. She's been in 2 of them, and having to deal with all of that and the politics of the whole thing and the events that happen in the Hunger Games, it's really starting to take its toll on her. And we see her kind of broken and not wanting to be the leader of this rebellion, and that's where Mockingjay Part 1 really focuses its efforts to set up for Part 2 and the big rebellion that will probably take place. I myself, I haven't read the books, but the movies have increasingly gotten better to me. This one has dropped down a little from Catching Fire, but it's still better than the first one, I think. The film really focuses on Katniss's ability to become the symbol and the leader of this rebellion, the Mockingjay, against the Capitol. And so it's really interesting to see her perspective of it and not really wanting to be this leader, but then after certain events in the movie, she starts to change her mind, things start to take shape, and she becomes this leader. And it's interesting to see her, kind of be awkward, and because she's not one of these people that can go out in front of this camera and give this great speech like me. I'm just kidding. But the movie really focuses on her ability to be that leader, have that self-confidence, and lead this group of people who are going to war basically, and they don't really know maybe what they're doing, or they don't have a clear vision, and so they need Katniss and her team to build that vision and help them go against the Capitol and start this rebellion and this movement. There's a lot of great acting in the movie. Of course, Jennifer Lawrence is great, like always in anything she's in, but especially seeing this broken hero become this leader. Josh Hutcherson is also great. He's not as much in this one, and in contrast, Liam Hemsworth is more in this one. So I guess if you're Team Gale and not Team Peeta, then you might like this movie, because Gale's in it more. Yeah. And Donald Sutherland's great too. He's not too much in the movie, but when he does show up, he plays a great antagonist with, I wouldn't say swagger, but he has this confidence about him, knowing that he can just kill off these people if they're starting to rebel, and he has this power about him. Something that I thought might have benefited the movie is maybe having a little bit of flashbacks here and there to kind of tie things back into the last movie, because for casual viewers, or for viewers who aren't as immersed into this book series and this film series, maybe if they're just going because they've seen the last movies and they'll go and see it, the Mockingjay Part 1, they might not be as immersed, and so they might not remember the events of the last movie. And they do talk about it here and there, but it might have just helped to have some flashbacks so you can help some more of those casual viewers and those who aren't as familiar with the books as me and some others. But if you saw Harry Potter Part 1 and 2, you'll know that Harry Potter 1 was a lot of the build-up to Harry Potter Part 2, which I thought was better than Part 1. I mean, Part 1 of Catching Fire was still good, but it did feel like a rising fire, basically. You have it, it's catching fire, and now the fire is rising. My Bane voice. But anyway, the fire is rising, and so it's really going to spark and lit off this rebellion in the second movie. Doesn't mean that it still wasn't good, but there are a few action sequences, a lot more dialogue and talking. So if you were looking for action sequences, there's really only a couple in the movie. The last 20 minutes are really good, and it makes that great segue into Part 2. But the whole movie was still intense and nerve-wracking because of the events that are taking place, and you can see the damage that's being done as this rebellion is starting to take place. So it was still great, I thought. So for those on the fence, this one is pretty easy because it's part of a film franchise. And so go see this movie if you're a fan of the books and the movies. I mean, it does justice to it. It continues that same storyline and same pace. The acting is still great. So if you're a fan of the series, just go and see it. I mean, you've probably already made up your mind. But I mean, if you're on the fence and about not seeing it, you might want to wait, because I am kind of mad that you have to wait a full year for part 2. What's going on? Like, it should come out in May, not next November. And so if you don't want to wait a year, or if you haven't seen Catching Fire recently, I think that will help. If you're not too familiar with Hunger Games, watch the last 1 or 2 and then go see the movie, and it might help you a little bit more with the experience. Or if you want, you can just wait, I guess, till part 2 comes and you could watch both of them together. So I'm going to give The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really great. It was a little slow at times and not many action sequences, which I would have loved, but overall it was still great. Great action, great tone and pace, great feel to the movie, great storyline leading up to Part 2. And so definitely go see Mockingjay Part 1 and tell me your thoughts. Leave a comment below if you've seen the movie, and like this video, please, if you do like it. Make sure to subscribe also. And follow me at Facebook and Twitter. If you subscribe, go to Facebook and Twitter. Those are great ways to follow me with any maybe movie news coming out or with some extra reviews that I'll do later on. So please subscribe. And if you have any questions that you'd like to submit, email me at moviereedviews@gmail.com. Thanks so much for watching, and happy viewing.
Well, hello there. My name is Adam Sandel, and I really like the Hunger Games. Except, I think that they should also have the Dusty Games, because you gotta have some high quality H2O. Isn't that right, Colonel Sanders? So anyway, I really like Hunger Games. And my mama said that I should give it a rating. And so I give Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 3 out of 5 water cups.